everyone, welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to share with you 7 chunky fantasy books that are on my shelf and I can't wait to read them. I'm kind of in my fantasy era. I've been reading fantasy almost exclusively this year. I just love being caught up in this world and getting out of stress from my current life situation, and not that my life is bad, but life is stressful. And I feel like a long fantasy book is great to get lost in. You get to know the world so much better. You fall in love with the characters so much more, and I'm just vibing with it. I love it. So these are my 7 books that I have on my shelf or my Kindle. And the first one is, my partner is here to help me. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And this is the Fairy Loot edition. I love the end papers. Can we show the end papers? It has a map, and I love maps. If your book has a map, I will read it. And it's foiled, and it's just one of the most beautiful books I have. Don't judge a book by its cover, but I did. I don't like to go into the book knowing too much. I am very anti-spoilers. Even the tiniest spoiler, I don't want to know. I like going into the book completely fresh and just discover things on my own along the way. So this is a book about Amina, who is a retired pirate in the Indian Ocean, and she's recruited by one of her former crewmate's mother to save their daughter for a big amount of money. And so she Amina goes on this very last adventure to save this person. And it's a lot of fantasy, obviously, and twists and turns, and I can't wait to read it. The next book, these are 2 books, really. Well, it's 1 book, but I'm going to show you 2 of them. This is the Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. And I know everyone has read it already, except me, but it's definitely on the thick side, and I've heard only great things. And the other book is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This just came out. It is a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. I don't know anything about this book because I feel like if I read a synopsis, it's going to spoil both books for me. This is the Illuminate edition, and it's very beautiful. I love the the stenciled edges, and it's also orange. I'm going to read to you the little synopsis they have on the internet. It says, "A world divided, a kingdom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens." Have no idea what it's about. That's all I need to know, and I can't wait to read it. So the next one is The Burning Gods by Arif Khan. This is the 3rd book in the Poppy War series. I've read the first 2. They're one of the best books I've ever read, and she's really grown in popularity. She wrote Babel, Yellowface, and this one, The Burning God, is on my Kindle, and it is a historical military fantasy, and military is not like usually my thing, but it just really worked in this book because it wasn't really just about strategy. It was about, discovering who you are and what you're willing to fight for. So the first book, The Poppy War, is about Rin, and Rin is a war orphan who joins this academy, and she discovers that she has these abilities that let her do unhuman-like things. I won't spoil it if you haven't read it. I will say it is very, very graphic and violent and heavy. A lot of people think this is YA. It is not YA. Definitely adult. So go into that knowing it. But I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm excited to finish the series. And then move on to Babel, which is on my TBR. The next book on my list is a book that I got for my birthday last year, The Helm of Midnight by Marina Lostetter. So it is described as Hannibal meets Mistborn. I've not read Mistborn, but I know about Hannibal, and so this is a horror fantasy. My partner is going to read to me a little snippet of the synopsis.
In a daring and deadly heist, thieves have made away with an artifact of terrible power, the death mask of Louis Charbon. Made by a master craftsman, it is imbued with the spirit of a monster from history, a serial murderer who terrorized the city.
So it sounds very dark. Sign me up. I love horror mixed with fantasy. So good. The next one is very chunky, but it's a bit misleading because this is a trilogy in one book. This is 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin, who is one of my favorite authors. If you've never read any of her work, you need to. She's I think one of the best fantasy writers today. I've read the Broken Earth trilogy, which is one of my favorite fantasy trilogies of all time. And she also wrote The City We Became, which is set in New York, and I love anything set in New York. So I'm very hyped for this, and it is about a young woman whose mother dies mysteriously, and this woman is summoned to a floating city in order to claim a royal inheritance that she didn't know, but then she is surprised when she gets there to discover that she is named heiress to the king. And then shit happens. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I don't think I'm going to read all three at once, but you never know, I might. The last book is one I just got like a few days ago, and it's The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This is part of the Library trilogy, and it is about two people who come together in a mysterious, vast library that contains unimaginable wonders. That is literally the only description this book gives you, but it's set in a library, it's fantasy, library books. I love it. So anything about books is like I buy it. So that was it for my chunky fantasy reads I can't wait to get to. Let me know in the comments what your favorite read is. It's chunky fantasy. I'm totally up for recommendations. And yeah, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!